interest rates rise, I get the same complaints from borrowers about lenders who fail to lock in rates, or from lenders about borrowers that misunderstand the process and think they have a mortgage rate lock and an interest rate when in fact they don't. I'm Elise Glink. Here's today's Real Estate Minute. Interest rates change daily, and at times they change hourly. That depends on what's going on in the bond market. You don't get an interest rate until you officially lock in that rate. But you can't simply walk into a mortgage broker's office and ask to lock in today's rate for a mortgage. You actually have to apply for the loan, and then you have to pay certain fees in order to secure that interest rate. Now, every lender has to give a borrower certain documentation following a loan application. That's the good faith estimate, and it details all the information about the loan terms, how much you're going to be paying for it, and the rest, and you have to get that in 3 days. When you go over that documentation, it should show you whether the interest rate on your loan is actually floating or locked. So you got to make sure that you read the documents. One of the things you're also going to get down the line is a rate lock disclosure, and that's how you know for sure that the rate is locked and at what interest rate. As long as you read the documents and you make sure that all of them are together, you should never have a problem knowing whether or not you have a locked-in rate. In the past 10 years, borrowers never complained about locked rates as interest rates kept drifting lower, right? As they were going lower, you want to get that lower interest rate. So if a lender forgot to lock you in, that was good. Or if they did, it was because they didn't want to be locked out of the lower rates. But when interest rates go up, borrowers yell and scream anytime they fail to lock in a rate, even though these days they're still getting an interest rate that's historically low. And I've said this before, the first loan my husband and I got for our house was 11.75%. Yes, that is 11% plus another 0.75%. So if you happen to be annoyed about missing out on locking a slightly lower interest rate, you have to understand this. You still have a low rate. It's still a really, really good rate, and it's never advisable to try and time the market anyway. Now, if for some reason your loan officer lies to you, yes, that happens too, or fails to lock in your interest rate after you take the proper steps to do so, you probably have a good case to have the mortgage lender honor that rate lock request. You'll have to deal with a manager or other person at the institution at that point, and of course, you want to make sure that you have all of your written documentation, because if it isn't written and you didn't receive a disclosure, it probably didn't happen. Now, if the bank or other institution fails to work with you in an honorable way to fix the problem caused by their loan officer, you might want to consider filing a complaint with the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I'm Elise Glink. If you have a question about buying real estate, you should send it to me at questions@thinklink.com or via Twitter @Glink. Thanks for watching. See you next time.